Your fear leaks out of your body, and something out there can read it. But read how exactly? In one experiment, dogs caught the fear of a frightened stranger from his sweat alone, and their own hearts began to race. The dogs were shown nothing, told nothing, played no sound at all. They were simply led into a room that held the smell of that man they had never met. Sweat gathered from his skin while he sat in fear. And they grew afraid too. Their hearts ran faster, their bodies tensed. They pulled toward their owners and away from anyone new. They had caught something invisible in the air, and it frightened them. You know this from the other side, the edge of the dark tree line, the dog behind the fence that goes still the moment you do, the horse that will not settle, though you are smiling, though your voice is soft and kind. Some part of you has always suspected the animal knows, that the fear you are hiding behind your face is not hidden at all, that it is leaking out of you, and that they can read it. So here is the plain answer to whether a wild animal knows when a human is afraid. Some animals really can pick up the signals of fear, but almost none of them do it the way you picture it. And the wild ones, the bear, the cougar, the snake in the grass, are doing something stranger and colder than reading your heart. Start with what is solid, because it is stranger than the myth. That study of the sweating men is real. In 2018, researchers took sweat from the armpits of men in 2 states, once while frightened, once while happy, and let pet dogs smell it. The setup was almost cruel in its simplicity. A room, the dog, its owner, a total stranger, and a small dispenser quietly releasing the odor of someone's fear. That was all. The dogs who breathed the fear sweat showed more stress. Their heart rates climbed. They leaned into their owners for comfort and kept their distance from the stranger. Nobody showed those dogs a scary face. Nobody screamed. The emotion crossed the gap between 2 species on nothing but scent. And be careful with what that proves, because it is easy to oversell. There is no single magic molecule of fear that the dog detected, no pure drop of terror in the air. What the men gave off was ordinary sweat, changed by their state, a whole chemical signature, not one alarm chemical. The dogs did not smell fear the way you smell smoke. They smelled a frightened body, and their own bodies answered. And it goes deeper into the body than that. In another experiment, dogs given emotional smells to sniff used their nostrils unevenly, leaning on one side of the nose for the frightening ones. The fear odor did not land as just another smell. It landed as something the animal's brain sorted differently, handled differently, the way you flinch before you have finished deciding to. But smell is only one door, and here the picture turns. Dogs, it turns out, lean far more on what they see than on what they sniff. When researchers looked at how dogs read us, the body won. Your posture, your movement, the way a scared person folds inward, or freezes, or steps back too fast. For a dog, that shape is the loudest thing in the room, louder than any scent you are quietly giving off. Horses tell the same story from another angle. Show a horse a photograph, just a flat picture, of a human face, and the horse responds differently to an angry face than to a happy one. Its heart answers before anything else does. A still image, a stranger's expression frozen on paper, and the animal's body has already taken a side. Bring real human fear and human joy into the room, and horses catch the mood and carry it, their own arousal rising to meet yours. So yes, the feeling you have had your whole life that they can tell is not madness, it is documented. The fear does leak. Here is the twist, and it is the thing almost every video about this gets wrong. Every animal I have just described lives with us. The dog on your couch, the horse in the paddock. These are creatures shaped by thousands of years beside human beings, animals whose whole survival has bent toward reading our moods. That is who the evidence is about. That is who smells your sweat and catches your dread. The bear does not. The mountain lion does not. The wild predator did not spend a single generation learning to love you or fear you or read your face. And so the honest answer, the one the field will actually stand behind, is smaller and sharper than the legend. A wild animal is not reading your emotion. It is reading what your emotion does to your body, and it is reading that as one thing only: risk. Watch what that means on the ground, because your life can turn on it. When the National Park Service tells you how to survive a mountain lion, they do not talk about your feelings. They talk about your shape and your motion. Do not run, they say. Running switches on the chase. Do not crouch. Do not bend down. Because a crouched human stops looking like a human and starts looking like a 4-legged animal, like prey. Stand tall. Make yourself bigger, face it, and if a child is with you, pick the child up. Read that list again and see what it really is. Every rule on it is a rule about the body that fear takes over. Fear is the thing that makes you bolt. Fear is the thing that makes you shrink and duck and cover your head. The cougar is not insulted by your terror. It is watching a shape move like something it eats. Your fear did not summon the attack. Your fear rearranged your body into the silhouette of prey, and the cat responded to the silhouette. The bear guidance says something similar, and it corrects another myth on the way. With a bear, stay calm. Identify yourself. Talk to it in a low, steady voice so it learns you are a human and not prey. Stand your ground. Wave your arms slowly. Back away slowly. Do not scream, do not lurch, do not run, because sudden noise and sudden motion are the sparks. And when a bear rises up onto its hind legs, the pose every movie has taught you to read as the moment before death, it is usually doing the least threatening thing a bear can do. It is standing up to see better and to smell better. It is gathering information. A bear on two legs, sniffing the air, is often just a large animal trying to figure out what you are. The rangers who write this guidance will also tell you, honestly, that no two encounters are the same, and that no single strategy is guaranteed to keep you alive. That is not a comforting thing to hear, but it is the truest thing in the whole subject, and it quietly demolishes the fantasy underneath the question. If the animal were simply reading your fear and acting on it, there would be one rule: feel calm, be spared. Instead, there is a stack of different rules for different animals, because there is no shared sense of your fear at all, only a set of separate creatures, each reading your moving body against its own idea of danger. Notice, too, that the bear and the cougar want opposite things from you. Make yourself big for the cat, stay quiet and small and slow for the bear. There is no single move that saves you from every predator, no universal rule where you simply stare death down, which tells you that these animals are not all running one shared program called sensing human fear. They are each solving a different problem in a different body with a different set of eyes. And this is where it gets genuinely humbling. It is tempting to imagine the bear standing there judging you, reading your soul, weighing your courage, deciding whether you are worthy. That story flatters us. It puts a human mind inside the animal, looking back out at another human mind. But the people who study animal thinking warn us off exactly this. Behavior that looks deep and knowing can be produced by something far plainer underneath. Simple perception, a little learning, a fast, cold calculation about threat and escape. The bear is not pondering your fear. The bear is doing math you cannot see about whether you are dangerous, whether you are food, and whether it should leave. So loop it back to your own body, standing at that tree line, heart going hard. What is actually happening to you? Fear is not one clean feeling floating in your chest. It is a flood of changes. Your breathing goes shallow and quick. Your sweat changes. Your voice tightens and climbs. Your shoulders round. Your knees soften. Your weight shifts back toward the exit. Every one of those is a signal, whether you want to send it or not. You are broadcasting on a dozen channels at once, and you cannot switch most of them off. That is the real answer to the question. The animal is not reading your fear. It cannot see the feeling. It has no word for it and no concept of it. What it can see is the wreckage the feeling leaves across your body, the shallow breath, the changed scent, the flinch, the crouch, the first twitch of a foot that wants to run. Fear is not a message you send. It is a set of changes the animal answers. And there is a hard safety edge on this that is worth saying plainly, because people do the opposite. Do not walk up to a wild animal to test any of this, to see whether it senses your fear, whether it will let you close. Health authorities are blunt about it. Keep away from wild animals that seem sick, or hurt, or strangely, unnaturally friendly. The tame-looking wild creature is not proof that fear can be mastered. It is often the most dangerous one in the field, which leaves you with something quietly powerful, and it is the closest thing to a secret this whole subject holds. You will never stop the fear. When the shape in the trees turns toward you, your body will do what a frightened animal's body does, and no amount of willpower deletes that. But the fear itself was never the thing being read, only what it did to you, and that, the breath, the voice, the posture, the urge to run. That part, unlike the feeling underneath it, you can hold. You can stand tall when everything in you wants to fold. You can keep your voice low and level when it wants to break. You can back away slow instead of bolting. Not because you are brave, because the animal was never reading your courage or your terror. It was only ever reading your body. And the body, you can rule.